Welcome to SpanReads, not your typical rereads podcast, a 17-shard series where we reread Brandon Sanderson's works and are giant nerds about it. Today we will be talking about the Skyward Flight novellas. Joining me is Jessie.
Hello, I'm Lady Lameness.
Ian.
Hey, I'm Weiry.
Eric.
Hey, I'm Cass.
And I'm Mish, or firstRainbowRose. We will be doing full spoilers in these episodes. As such, this is a warning to our viewers and listeners. There will be full spoilers for all Skyward novels, excluding Defiant, from this point forward. So for this episode, we're discussing the lore. What do we want to start with?
Gotta start with slugs, right?
Slugs.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
There's a lot of them.
There is a lot of them. We don't know what some of them even do.
That's true.
Yes. Which makes me sad because I love rainbows, and the rainbow slug is the one that we don't know about, and it makes me sad.
We may have a word of Jessie on that, because I want to say they're the illusion slugs.
Slugs. I just love like putting Boom Slug into the box, and then they have like a super mind blade weapon. Like that is cool stuff, and I love that.
Also, like, further proof that like Cytonic tech exists, because it's like that's not just those mind blades aren't just coming from Boom Slug. Like there's something technological going on there.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, it's not clear to me because it does seem like the boxes are just boxes, and like there's nothing important in the box. Because like Rig's box wasn't special; it was just a box to just fill in embot slots.
There must be something in the box, though. Like that allows it to amplify things.
Yeah, I mean, yeah. Just didn't seem like. It just seemed like Rig was saying, "I have a box to put it in." Okay, and then they're like, "Great, that works. It's pretty good."
Yeah. And there's also a line about comm slugs aren't necessarily useful without a full hyper comm. Like
yeah, right,
thing.
right. Yes. So like, there's definitely it interfaces mentally, I guess, with some tech, I guess.
Yeah, I'm like, tell us more about Cytonic tech, please.
I think that's all glossed over, and you're not supposed to think about it too much. That's
probably. Hey,
exactly.
Jessie, if you're watching this, Cytonic tech, please.
I loved just learning what the platforms do on Detritus, and that was so satisfying.
That was very cool. To go back to the slugs for a minute.
Yeah.
Is that Brandon knew that like the slugs were Cytonic? That's always been a thing. But like humanity befriending slugs was Jessie's idea. That like Brandon was just like, yeah, and like the slugs are Cytonic, you can do what you will with them. And like Jessie was like, okay, we're gonna be nice to the slugs. Yes, that is what you should do.
Yeah, when they're intelligent things, like scaring them is not a good idea.
Yeah. The slugs are the friends we made along the way.
True. I will say that with all the slug jumping, I'm still very confused about how they don't attract the Delvers, but look, we're not going to worry about that in the novellas. They use them to jump and they don't attract the eyes. And that's all the information we need here.
So I've been thinking about that.
Okay.
And I actually wonder if this screaming has nothing to do with the Delvers at all. It is literally just the slug is being tortured to do a thing. And while it's being tortured, it screams. And because the slugs can just jump through the nowhere without being seen, right? Like they don't need to do something to distract the Delvers. They just aren't seen by the Delvers. So I'm wondering if the scream has like literally nothing to do with distracting the Delvers. It's just the slug is being tortured.
Is that true that they can't be seen at all by the Delvers?
Well, they jump through the nowhere like all the time in the novellas with the slugs, and the Delvers never see them.
No,
because Lameness talks about how like she can only do it so many times before she starts attracting their attention. But if she has a slug with her, then it's not a problem.
No, I understand that, but like there could be like some Cytonic things that we're not witnessing where they maybe are screaming. So like I just don't know if the slugs, like without the screaming, that they can go unseen.
Yeah.
That's the part that I'm not sure if is
I
true
will
or
say
not.
neither Alanik or Jorgen ever mentioned them screaming when they
Yeah.
jump.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
just
That's kind of what I'm thinking.
yeah,
It's like if they can jump without screaming, then
yeah.
what is the scream actually doing?
You know, I think I just need to stop thinking about that scene in Starsight, because I just think like I don't think it makes sense. Like it didn't make sense there. The more information you get, the less sense it makes.
My brain hurts when I think about the slugs. I've thought about it way too much because it has driven me crazy. I think I'm just going to stick with this idea for now until something else.
Yeah,
That
I
makes
think
the
I'm
most
with
sense.
I don't know what else to think.
Yeah.
We do know that like slugs in the nowhere have like some mechanism for disguise and camouflage.
Yep.
That like, yeah, sure, they like Delvers just can't see them when they're hyper jumping. Like,
Sure. Yeah, because
their minds are so different. Bringing it back. Their minds are just like so different from like an AI or like a humans that like they just don't register.
That makes sense to me.
I wonder almost if the slugs are just kind of considered creatures of the nowhere instead of how like in Cytonic, where it's explained that humans became Cytonics because it kind of leaked out of the nowhere and it went into the humans, and that's how they got power. And that's kind of what hurts the Delvers, is letting in the somewhere to the nowhere. God, I hate these names. Whereas
The negative
I wonder
realm.
if the slugs have always just been considered part of the nowhere instead of being part of the somewhere and having the nowhere reach them in the somewhere. That sounded so confusing.
I think we just
But,
need to
like,
call it negative
We
realm.
do know
positive
that
realm.
like it's not the leakage from the somewhere that's actually hurting the Delvers, because like they're from the somewhere too. It's like it's too close to a reminder.
My understanding was like when humans or Atlantic or when Cytonics jump through the nowhere, it lets the somewhere into the nowhere, which creates time and space.
Yeah, like slightly.
Because there's no time and space in the nowhere, and that's what the Delvers want. Whereas like when it lets in the time and space, that's when they have to start processing things again.
And I don't think I agree with the premise that their minds are so different. There's lots of different Cytonic aliens. Why wouldn't some minds be sufficiently different? I don't know. Like,
I don't know. I was trying to say a thing.
yeah. No, that's fine. I look, this is not sufficiently explained, and I definitely think every one of these lore episodes, like, but really though, how does it how does that work? How do the slugs do it with the Delvers? And you know what? We just gotta accept that, I guess, and that's fine.
Maybe it'll be explained in the future.
Yeah,
Defiant, please.
Or Skyward Legacy, right? Like,
yeah, or Skyward Legacy.
Yeah,
Jessie, please.
Jessie, you love exploring slugs. I believe you're going to make a slug named Hoyd. I think that has been promised.
Yeah, I remember that. Yeah,
that's true.
Yeah.
That's a fact. I love that.
Which is lovely.
The oaths have been spoken.
Yes. Swear your oath to your slug. The slug's radiant will stand again. I don't know if there's much else to talk about with slugs other than they're very cool and very cute, and I love them.
Yeah.
Yes. I wish there was a boom slug plushie.
Yes.
Yeah.
Because like there's like the squeeze balls, but I'm like, I don't want a squeeze ball. I want like a doom slug plushie, but boom slug with the sunglasses.
Yes.
Yeah.
Because boom slug is cool.
Yeah. Boom slug's the best.
The stress ball boom slugs is such a funny idea.
That's quality.
Yeah, like just playing off that joke of what Jorgen did of squeezing the slug.
It's
like
very clever.
That's quality humor right there.
Yeah.
One thing about the slugs that I think comes up in the novellas is that the boom slugs are called boom slug, even though there's a boom slug called boom slug.
Yes.
Yes.
Correct.
Why? Why are they called boom slugs? Choose a different name.
Because boom slug is
All the top of mind editors are crying right now.
Boom slug the slug is the archetypical boom slug, lowercase b. And
Like
so it's
lowercase
popularized.
boom slugs are named in honor of uppercase boom slug.
Correct.
He is their progenitor, their leader.
Or just
Yeah,
the one we
I
found
hate
first. You know, I mean, you're not wrong.
It's like they kind of like,
the ones named this way.
well, it's because it's like they kind of like they named boom slug in reference to doom slug, and then they're like, but wait, that's like the perfect name for like his entire like subvariant, and I'm like,
you're not wrong. You're not wrong.
You're not.
so I was like, we're just gonna do that
What are the names
because
of
like they
inhibitor
can't
slugs?
change boom
Yeah.
slug's name at that point.
No,
Because he is boom slug.
he is boom slug.
He is both boom slug and a boom slug. He is
There's
the
a-
boom slug.
There are situations of that in the real world, but yeah.
Yeah.
Just the opening line of the Coppermind article. Boom slug is a lowercase boom slug.
It's like Pegasus.
True.
Originally, there was
True.
only one uppercase. Pegasus is a
True.
name. And then, like, fantasy authors are like, yeah, we're going to have winged horses called Pegasi.
And that's why it's pluralizing Pegasus is weird. And then it's like, oh yeah, the Greeks didn't have this problem because there's one of them.
Yeah.
Okay, fine. We learned about mind blades and stuff, though. Speaking of boom slug,
Yes.
and that was cool
Yeah.
to see.
Yeah.
And
Yeah, because mind blades are like a thing that features fairly prominently in Defending Elysium.
Yep.
But Spencer doesn't do them.
Yeah, I really liked finally getting to see Jorgen being like having his main Cytonic skill. Like that was so gratifying, right? Because like,
Mhm.
man, I can't hyper jump, but that'd be really great if I could. Because Alnique does it all the time. That's great. I can communicate. That's cool.
See, I would put his communication as his primary skill.
Well, that is true. But yeah, he has those two skills like all maxed out, basically.
Mhm.
I really like the description of mind blades, how like when he's going through the meditation and Juno's talking about the birds,
Oh
but then it's talking about like taking parts of the nowhere and forming them into blades and throwing them. That is such a cool description.
Mhm.
Yes.
Oh, and like as the counterpart to mind blades, which are like affecting like physical material, like we also get concussion bolts,
Yeah, that's
Which-
true.
Yes.
had never been discussed before.
Yeah, no, that's new.
which are like a mental attack.
Yeah.
Which is like so much of Cytonics is just psionics. So like
Yes.
a mental based attack makes sense too. It's like,
Yep.
Yeah.
I was a bit confused the first time I read Read On because there were the mind blades and the concussion bolts, and I didn't understand the difference between them.
Yeah.
Because my understanding of mind blades was that they weren't like a physical thing that
Mhm.
appeared. But then the concussion bolts also weren't a physical thing that appeared. I figured it out eventually, but I was a bit
Mhm.
confused.
Yeah.
I can see that.
I think there was a brief like, is this just a different name for mind blades
Mhm.
because they're aliens? But oh wait, no, they're just a different thing.
Yeah.
Different thing. Yeah.
Yep. Big lore wise, we figure out what happened to the kits in Cytonics, which was a great
Yeah.
mystery.
Yeah. I still think parts of it don't make sense.
I agree. Honestly.
Because it's like we know Cytonics can be born to people who aren't Cytonics. So it's like, yes, gather all the Cytonics in one place and they vanish. There should still be some like genetic
Mhm.
potential for Cytonics in the Kitson population.
Yeah, evidently not.
Yeah,
Not
like the
enough.
whole thing was the nowhere leaking into the somewhere and creating Cytonics, and that should still happen.
Mhm.
Even if the kits and Cytonics aren't there. But how long was it that they were stuck in there?
A few hundred years
Yeah.
at least.
Okay. Yeah. I think that's the other thing. How are they still alive? Like that's
they
what
mentioned-
I wanted to know.
They do mention that Cytonics can extend their life. I mean, that's a big part of
The defending Elysium.
Cytonic.
Yeah.
Is
Okay.
the fact that they can
Yeah.
one of the powers
I
can be
forgot
extended
that.
life.
Yeah. A handful of them have extended their lives, but also like they're a stable population. They can just make more kitten, which is where most of them
There
came
was
from.
like new Cytonics as well. Like there was like younger ones that
And
did
like
not
people
exist
weren't
when they went through.
Cytonics.
Yeah.
That must be suck. It's like you're born like into this population, like, and you're not Cytonic. I'm stuck in this weird place, and I can't do anything.
That would suck.
I also think that there's timey-wimey shenanigans in the nowhere, probably. Like, that probably helps, too.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
time blowing differently. Whatever.
But I think the majority of it is the ones who went in are the same ones that came out. Most of them have died over time, and they had kids.
I think the thing that's most confusing is how Gran could also get stuck in it the same way.
Yeah,
and
that's
I'm
weird.
like, we needed a story where Cobb wasn't there and Gran wasn't there because this is Jorgen's leadership story. And we're going to make that happen. And Cytonics is loosey-goosey enough where we can make that happen. And honestly, nowhere portals, I don't know. I don't get it. So I'm just like, okay, sure, that may as well happen, I guess.
It sort of makes sense to me with Gran because she was specifically trying to follow the voices. So, and like she's not skilled at hyperjumping, right? Like this seemed to be like the first time she did it. Like she knew she could, but she didn't really have the practice of it. So it sounds like she hyperjumped into the nowhere, but then couldn't get out because she doesn't know how to hyperjump out and the portal is closed.
Yeah.
The way is shut.
It was still so cool for Jorgen to open it though and let the Kitsen in. Like that was a great description and just like so sad that Kitsen Cytonics is like, I'm just trying to talk with someone to the other side, and it took so long for just anyone to hear because like ouch. Brutal. I liked all that, but I do agree. I don't know if it makes a lot of sense, but you know what? There's a lot of loosey-goosey world building in this series.
It was very interesting that the portal, like how the portal was locked, and like the way that Jorgen was thinking about it with like a bunch of vines that you could move apart. It's like, why is it like that? And like we know from Cytonic that most of the portals are locked as well. But are they locked the same way? Is this different? Is it the same? It's just more mysteries that are not yet solved.
Yeah.
And it's like the weird thing I noticed on this reread is that like I don't think that was a pre-existing portal.
Yeah.
It's like it was created like when they got sucked in. They were like trying to open a portal and there's like, oh, oops, you all got sucked in with a whole bunch of like stone. That's like what formed the library.
Yeah.
But then like, how did it get locked?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's like if you're opening a portal, like it shouldn't automatically close and lock behind you, I feel.
Yeah, no. Like I'd always kind of assumed that the superiority had gone around and locked all the portals, but that does not seem to be the case with this one.
I don't know. These are all great points. Also, I don't think this is a Jancy inconsistency. I think this is just like, what is going on with these portals? Like, I'm confused. You know?
I think this is just a mystery that has not yet been solved.
Yeah.
A question of the setting that is meant to be weird.
Yeah.
Something to explore in the future.
I did want to give a quick shout of Redon, the setting. I know you mentioned it before, Ian, but like the giant trees generating oxygen in the air, right? And like now they've have better generators so they can do more things, but these 50-kilometer trees, I love it.
I have no idea how this sort of environment develops naturally, and like how bipedal aliens like develop on this planet. I don't care. It's cool.
Look,
It is cool.
we don't need to worry about how evolution worked and developed on that world. And
yeah, because I have no idea how. Like, what path took
And
place
maybe.
here?
I don't think Brandon or Jancy know either, and I don't think they care. It's just like, yeah,
Doesn't matter.
How does the giant mammoth star pod like how does that work? I don't know. It's a space monster, man. Like that's what we're doing here.
Sense. That makes sense to me.
Yeah. It's like I'm
Like that-
creating a thing. I'm not creating the beginning. I'm just creating the thing.
Mhm.
I really enjoyed the setting, and I also really enjoyed Wandering Leaf. Like Wandering Leaf was such a good plot device. It's like, this is the abandoned platform. We can use the platform. Maybe we can use Detritus. And also, your one moment I didn't mention was just how like sad and despondent I felt when Wandering Leaf was destroyed. It's like, oh, that's really bad. Yikes. So we just brought a whole planet of Wandering Leaves. It's like, we're good. We're good, guys.
I think it needed to be destroyed though, because like it was so good. Was kind of the problem. Is if they just had it the whole battle, they would just win.
Yep.
So I think it had to be destroyed so that the tension could continue. So we could continue to try and find a different solution.
Yeah.
But you're right. It was very sad.
Yeah. Read on such a good middle, I think, for these. That it sets up the things that you want to do later while also being satisfied. It's hard to structure these. They're good.
Anything else?
Another lore thing we could touch on is just Detritus itself and how we find out in these novellas that it's not a planet. It's a basically a giant moving spaceship that can go around and attack things and defend itself. And there's just so much more to it than what we knew before.
It's a teleporting Death Star almost.
It's a teleporting Death Star.
God.
It kind of is.
That is such a cool thing to have. I think the only thing I am confused with Detritus, it has the inhibitor field up, right? So clearly, like, even Jorgen thinks there must be inhibitor slugs here somewhere. But like, it's also really old. How are the inhibitor slugs still on the station to turn it on? Right? Yeah. Like, I don't understand that.
Well, like, they had to add the first one. Oh wait, no, because it just activated when they turned on
in Sunreach.
the shield.
Yeah. You know?
I wonder if that is actually something different and it's not inhibitor slugs.
Like
Because it was a shield, right? Like it was stopping the beam from the cannon, not inhibiting cytonics.
Yeah, but like, and we do know that like the whole point was like a cyto shielding thing, right? So I maybe like some technological way of producing the same effects, but also like they have all the slugs, and clearly the reason it's around that planet is because they're slugs. Like, that's why they're there, right? So it's interesting.
I'm kind of interested actually in how the slugs got there. Like, did they choose this planet to build everything around because the slugs were on it? Or did they bring the slugs there? And it kind of, to me, I kind of think it's the first one.
Yeah, I agree.
It makes me wonder, is this Cambry? Because Cambry is meant to be the homeworld of the slugs.
I don't think so, because we know Tanix like just show up on other planets. That's why the superiority is like, if you see these, like, let us know, we'll take care of the infestation. And I think they just like hyper jump around.
Yeah, probably. Like they definitely didn't need to go up there. So,
though also we don't know how accurate the superiority is in anything they say about the Tanix.
Yeah, it's hard to say.
So I feel like I have a very, very vague memory that there was something the Tanix was scared of that I think might have been on their home planet which might have been why they started leaving.
There was, wasn't there
There's,
like
like,
some reference in Cytonic?
Yeah,
Delver-like entity.
Yeah, maybe.
a Delver-like entity, and they
Like,
were
they
scared,
evolved.
They ran away.
Yeah.
Yeah, because like they evolved their defense mechanisms like before Delvers existed.
Yes.
Yeah.
So I think it
And
was
at
that
least
like first
according to
Delver.
at least according to the superiorities records, they escaped Cambry on trading vessels. So, yeah, it's just interesting. How did all the slugs get there? Going back to the original question, how did they get all of these slugs onto Detritus?
I think the superiority, like them escaping on transport ships, is just a straight up lie. Like I think they're hyper jumping, and I guess there were just enough mushrooms, and they were like, "Yeah, cool, we're happy here. I like the caverns; they're nice." And then the humans just found it's like, "Wow, there's a big population. This is crazy. Like great spot."
Well, I think it might be the other way. I think they
It could be.
might have like just like found like, okay, like here's this like dead planet basically like that we're gonna retrofit. They brought all the slugs for the ring, and then like some of them just like reached, because like they weren't nice like our modern day humans.
That's true.
As far as we know, they weren't making friends with the slugs. Some of them probably like broke containment, like made it down to the surface. Easier to hyper jump there. It's like,
Yeah.
and the caverns are just a very like good environment for them because mushrooms.
Yeah.
And then like over hundreds of years, like they made a lot more slugs.
Yeah, they just breed at that point. Okay.
Mhm.
That's plausible, but like that could be any planet, and Detritus has like the weird symbols and stuff and the mushrooms. So I feel like there's the no walk, right? I feel like they chose Detritus for those reasons and not just it's a consequence of it being there. I think
They could still have chosen Detritus and then brought the slugs there. I think that's what Ian's saying.
Yeah.
Sure.
Yeah.
I just disagree. Like I don't think that's true. I think the slugs are already there.
Yeah. Like
Which
that's
came
definitely
first?
possible because there is a nowhere portal that like we just know that like all the symbols are in the cavern. Like Spencer talks about it multiple times.
Yeah.
So it has to be a nowhere portal there.
So like I think like nowhere portals on planets are probably a place of strategic importance that they could choose. But yeah, I suppose if they're choosing it off that, then yeah, they could still bring the slugs for sure. Before we wrap, Mish, I just wanted to make a quick mention that because we didn't do it in our first episode, that I'm extremely excited for Skyward Legacy because Jancy did a great job on these, and I'm very, very excited to see more. That's what I want.
I'm so excited to see more.
Definitely.
Yes.
Awesome.
Mhm.
But anyway, that's not a lore thought, though.
That's just the final thought.
Yeah.
Strike it from the record. It's not
No.
true.
No.
Outtakes.
Do we have any other final thoughts?
Don't think so.
Nope. Well, then, thank you for watching. You can find us at 17thshard.com for all the news, discussion, theories, and fun that you could ever want. You can find us on Facebook, Twitter, SoundCloud. You can leave us a review on iTunes. You can subscribe on YouTube. And you can also support us on Patreon. See you next time. Bye.
Bye.
Happy Halloween.
Cool.
Cool.